Hello. Today, this tutorial is going to be on Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll by Tommy Trash. I've noticed that my last few tutorials have been pretty long. I don't actually know how they've gone from 8 minutes to 18 minutes. So today I'm going to try and keep it as quick as possible. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments box down below the video, and I'll do my best to answer them all. So I'm just going to jump right into it. First you need a combinator as always, and a 4 polyphonic synthesizer. Initialize the patch. Now you're going to want to put on mono legato, and the portamento you're going to want to set to auto, and then you're going to want to do show programmer, and then for the first oscillator is going to be a wavetable. And then you're going to want to change the waveform to a PPG 17 mixed harmonic. The octave you're going to want to leave at 4. The tune you're going to want to touch up to 15. And the position you're going to want at 48. And turn the X fade off. And then for oscillator 2, you're going to want an analog, leave it at saw but bring the octave down to 3. And the tune to -15. And that's that. For the final oscillator, you're going to want a noise, and you're just going to set it to white, and that's fine like that. So we'll move on to the mixer settings. You're going to want this 1 and 2 oscillator balance at 70, and then you're going to want the level, the third oscillator level down to -15.2, and that's fine. We're going to use 2 filters today. First one, low pass ladder filter. Turn on all 3 oscillators, and then you're going to want to change it to 12 though. And the frequency you're going to want right the way up, and the resonance you're going to want at 20. The filter envelope amount is 0, and the velocity you're going to want at 127, and that's it for the first filter. Second filter, you're going to want a comb, and you're going to want to put it on minus, the modes you're set to minus. Then you're going to want, it's only oscillator 2 we're going to want in this filter. The drive you're going to want to bring down to 37 as well. And the frequency we're going to bring down, bring down to 96.3. There you go. For the resonance on this filter, you're going to want at 37. Envelope amount at 0, velocity leave at 47, and that is it. And remember to turn it on here. I forgot to do that in my last tutorial. It's quite important, otherwise you won't get any sound from this filter. And the final thing we're going to do is alter the amp envelope, and to do that we're going to take the attack right down to 0 milliseconds. The decay you're going to want at 3.99 seconds. Go. Sustain at -10.2, and the release you're going to want at 285 milliseconds. There you go, that's the basic synth sound. I'm going to chuck 2 EQs on this. So first, create an M-class equalizer, turn the low cut on, and then skip to param 1. You're going to want at 304 Hertz, 304.2, then bring the gain down to -4, and the Q you're going to want at 3.5, so bring that down. Just trying to get rid of some of those muddy frequencies there. Param 2, you're going to want to set at 1192 Hertz. The gain you're going to want to bring up to 10 decibels. And the Q you're going to want at 9.9. And then we're going to turn on the high shelf. Change the frequency to 3893. So bring that down. 3008. There you go. Gain 3.4. And the Q at 1.64. And then we're going to right click and create another EQ. This time you're going to want low cut on again, low shelf. You're going to want to change the frequency to 106.2. The gain for this you're going to want up at 4.6 decibels. And the Q you leave at 0.62. Turn on param 1. Change the frequency to 126. The gain at 2.3 decibels. And the Q leave at 5.7, and then finally turn on param 2 up to 9461. Gain you're going to want to set at minus 2.9 decibels. And the Q you're going to want at 4.4. So that's that. Next we're going to add a vocoder. So go to effects and where is it? There you go, digital vocoder. The band you're going to want to set at 8, and it's very important you set this to equalizer, otherwise you won't get any sound. And the shift you're going to want to touch up to 4. Now I've altered these on my patch. I'll show you down here. If you want to pause that, I mean, because you don't actually get any values when you click on these, so if you pause that and try and make your band match that or get close to that, it's just quite hard to explain how I've done that. So if you just pause the video there and get this band looking like that, and that's that for the vocoder. So next up we're going to add a compressor, so M-class compressor, gain up 4.3 decibels. The threshold you're going to want to bring to minus 13. And then for the ratio you're going to want up at 5.53. Attack you're going to want at 55, up slightly. And the release you're going to want at 292. And output you're going to raise this ever so slightly to 1.1. And now we're going to create a scream for distortion unit. And in this you're going to want to set the algorithm to overdrive. You're going to then want to take the damage control down to 28. Then we're going to touch this low up to 20. The mid up to 17. And the high at 9. You're going to want to turn this body off as well and turn the master up to 109. I've forgotten what these params are set to, so if you bear with me 1 sec, I'll just... So param 1 you're going to want to set to 55, param 2 28. So 55, param 1. And what did I say? 28? Who knows? Yeah, 28. And that's that. So finally, last thing we're going to do is add a reverb unit, which is very important for this sound. So what you want to do, pardon me, is you're going to want to change the decay, or actually enable the EQ and enable the gate. Then change the decay to 20. The high frequency damp you're going to want at 43. And the high EQ you're going to want at 39. The wet you're going to want to bring down to 39. Then for the reverb, we're going to use small space algorithm and then bring the size down to 1.6 meters. The mod touch up to 12, and then we're going to change the room shape to 1, and then we're going to change this to 75, and then 70. Pre-delay you're going to want at 20. And it's quite important. If you play around with this, experiment with it, you'll notice the difference with different pre-delays. And then you're going to want to change the mod amount to 100. And then if you go down here and click on the EQ, it'll bring up this. What you're going to want to do is bring down the low gain to minus 12.4. And the frequency you're going to want at 1000 Hz. So right up. And then here you're going to want to touch this up to 12 decibels. And then the frequency is at 2320. And the Q you're going to want to bring down to 0.2. And the final thing, if you go and click on the edit mode again, bring you up to the gate, you're going to want to bring the gate threshold up to minus 5.2 decibels. The decay amount you're going to want at 0, audio trigger as a trigger source, and then leave the high pass at 181. The attack you're going to want to bring up slightly to 12 milliseconds, hold 30, and the release you're going to want to bring up to 2910 milliseconds. And there you go, guys. That is Tommy Trash's bass synth from his song Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll. As always, please check out my channel and subscribe, and also I'll put links onto my Facebook and SoundCloud page so you can check out my music as well. Cheers!